Welcome to Part 3 of the Limited Conservatorship Workshop. This workshop is presented by the Superior Court of California, Santa Clara County, Self-Help Center and Family Law Facilitator's Office. The contents of this workshop are intended for informational purposes only and do not constitute legal advice. If you need legal advice, please contact a private attorney. During this part of the workshop, we will go over what to expect at the court hearing and next steps instructions for filing and service. Before your court hearing, you must watch the online video with Heart, Understanding Conservatorship. This video is available on YouTube at the link on the screen. After you complete the video, you will fill out and file Form PB-4076. Your court hearing will be located at 191 North 1st Street in San Jose, California 95113. On the date, at the time, and in the department listed on your Notice of Hearing Form GC-020. If you plan to appear in person for the court hearing, please plan to arrive with enough time to find parking, pass through the metal detector, and be on time for the hearing. If you plan to appear remotely for your court hearing, then you can find instructions on how to appear by telephone or video conferencing by clicking on the Remote Hearing Instructions button found on the court's main webpage. There are many other cases scheduled for the same time as your court hearing, and there is no way to know in what order the judge will call the cases. So be patient until your case is called. Your hearing will likely only be a few minutes. When your line number and name are called, please announce your presence to the court. The judge will defer to the public defender and may ask you some questions. The judge may or may not address the proposed conservatee if they are able to attend the court hearing. If your orders are granted, then the judge will sign Forms GC-340 and GC-350. If you appeared in person, then they will be handed to you to take to the clerk's office to file. If you appeared remotely, then a filed copy will be mailed to you. Now we will go over the next step instructions. Step 1 is to double check that all your forms are complete. Step 2, make 2 copies of the original set of forms. Paperclip the original forms and staple the copies. Step 3. Take your original and 2 copies to the clerk's office for filing. The clerk's office is located at 191 North 1st Street, San Jose, California 95113. Check the court's website for current hours of operation. The clerk will put an endorsed filed stamp on each of the forms and a court date on the notice of hearing and citation forms. The clerk's office will keep the original plus 1 copy and return 1 copy to you. Step 4. If you haven't already done so, arrange for the conservatee's physician to fill out the capacity declaration form. This form must be filed no later than 5 days before the court hearing. You must also email a copy of Form GC-335 to the public defender's office. Step 5A. Find a server, someone who is at least 18 years old and not one of the conservators in the case. Hand deliver a filed copy of Form GC-310 and GC-320 to the conservatee. This service must be completed at least 15 days before the court hearing. Whoever serves the forms must fill out the proof of service form on page 2 of the citation form GC-320. You will then file that proof of service form with the clerk's office at least 5 days before the court hearing. Step 5B. Find a server, someone who is at least 18 years old and not one of the conservators in the case, to put in the mail a filed copy of Forms GC-310 and GC-020 to each of the persons on the service list of Form GC-020. These persons include the following: all first and second degree relatives who are at least 12 years old, the San Andreas Regional Center if the conservatee is a client there, and the Public Defender's Office. You have the option of having the Public Defender's Office served by email instead of by U.S. mail. This service should be completed right away after filing because the San Andreas Regional Center must complete a report and submit it to the court. It can take them several weeks to complete the report, and they will not start until after they receive a copy of these forms. After this service is completed, your server will fill out the proof of service form on page 2 of Form GC-020. You will then file that proof of service form in the clerk's office at least 5 days before the court hearing. Step 6. Before your court hearing, watch the video with Heart, Understanding Conservatorships. Fill out Form PB-4076 and file that form with the court. Go to your court hearing in person or virtually. You can find instructions for appearing by telephone or by video conference by visiting courts.ca.gov and clicking on the button for remote hearing instructions. Step 7. If your orders are granted, then you can serve by mail a filed copy of Forms GC-340 and GC-341 on each of the first and second degree relatives of the conservatee, the San Andreas Regional Center if the conservatee is a client, and the Public Defender's Office. The Public Defender's Office may be served by email instead of U.S. mail. For these two forms, you, the petitioner, can be the one to do the service. You do not have to arrange for a third person. After service is complete, you will fill out the Proof of Service form on page 3 of Form GC-341 and file that form in the clerk's office. This concludes Part 3 of the Limited Conservatorship Workshop. We hope you found this information helpful. If you have any questions or would like us to review your forms before filing, then you may scan and email them to us at ltdconserve@scscourt.org.